I'd like. Can't find mine out, guys. Sack on. Come on. No whole charger takes me. She's okay. Well, at least your mom's doing good. Unless it wants a fucking alcohol in me. So, my shit's all fucked. Like, I'm basically being left out in the fucking dark right now a little bit about my mom's fucking situation. I don't know what the fuck is up with her. She's in the hospital. People are like legit saying that she might not make it or some fuck shit. Tell me like, you know, like fear-mongering type of stuff. Fucking like basically saying, hey, you know, you need to like not go to work today and shit like that. Basically last fucking second saying that, like saying this type of shit literally in about 1 hour before I have to fucking go to work. I can't just call in. I can't just do that shit, even if it is for an emergency, because of like last second, like, uh-oh, what, you know, what are they going to be able to do in that type of situation? So I'm sitting here like, the fuck? What the goddamn fuck? Yeah. I don't know what the fuck is going on, because I'm left out in the dark a little bit. I legit don't know what their fucking issue is right now. Like, not even a couple weeks ago, she just had like a fucking blood infection that she just got over, and now this fucking shit's happening again. And it's like another like kind of fear and shit, because this isn't like the first time this has happened. And, you know, and there's always just like a fucking lack of, you know, proper fucking information. In this situation, I did. Yeah, I had a number to call. I already called that shit, and my brother picked up and was telling me about it, and he said that she's doing better right now, but still not good, which is the only good bit of fucking information I got was from my brother so far. Was saying, yeah, she's doing okay right now, but still not good. You know, she's got her in a stable situation, which that's like the only good fucking information I've gotten like within like the last like minute. It's like I knew she was in the hospital from yesterday, which I was like, God fuck damn it, again. And now it's serious fucking shit. And I can't really do too much right now. My weekend's tomorrow, so I have all the time in the world tomorrow. Not today. Like, there ain't no fucking shit I can do right now. Like, granted, it's a family emergency, and I, you know, could use that as a way to just, you know, say, nope, can't do it. But, I mean, like, it's not necessarily something I have to just, like, call in on. So I'm not going to, but I'm gonna let them, you know, I've even let them know. It's like, yo, I got a family situation. I'll explain when I get up there, but I'm gonna have to leave early today, you know, and shit. And they're like, okay, we got at least, I think, 3 people, you know, me included, so it shouldn't be too bad. And I'm like, okay. You know, and honestly, I ain't the only one that does that anyway. Some people usually leave early on closing shifts, and it's like me and one other person that sticks around. Just running after telling the manager. That's essentially what I'm gonna do. Like, I mean, because what the fuck can I do? Like, there's not much I can do right now. Besides just, you know, get fucking freaked out. I'm fucking pissed off at this fucking worthless backwater shithole of a country. Being kind of the root of this. Because I guarantee it's due to the fact that our healthcare is fucking outright inadequate when it comes to, like, addressing any fucking problems, you know, with anybody in this country, regardless of what fucking state you're in. Like, you're just fucked. You're boned. You don't get, you know, any, you know, sense of, like, you know, aid or recompense, you know, to be able to assist you or make you feel better and shit. Nuh-uh, you're fucked. You're on your own. Unless you got, like, a nice big fat juicy wallet for the fucking insurance company to extort and fucking rape out of. And if you can't do that, then we'll just, like, pill pop you, you know, until you're fucking, like, addicted to it and shit. We'll fucking, you know, pump you full of drugs because that's, you know, how you fucking solve problems. Put band-aids by, you know, feeding people a bunch of drugs and shit, you know, pumping them full of chemicals, because that is totally how you fucking solve medical problems. By panicking too much yesterday, I looked it up. You pass the fuck up, helps no one. Well, I don't panic outright. I'm just fucking mad. I'm not panicking. I'm fucking mad. Like, you know, half the time when I, you know, start getting in panic mode, I change that into fucking fight mode. You know, because honestly, it's just like, I mean, you know, like, there's been plenty of things, you know, at least in my own experience, where it's just like, you know, channeling into some energy like that, you know, does far better than just belligerently, you know, just going out there with it. Like, it has to be channeled into something, and especially when it comes to being fucking productive. Channels rage like you. Well, I mean, I've taught myself that. You think, you know, I mean, you think it's just something that comes natural? Because I do kind of want to just, like, you know, just let it out, you know, randomly, but I'm keeping it harnessed into some shit. Because, like, if not, then, yeah, it doesn't help anybody. Besides just, you know, it feels good, but it doesn't do shit. Some people it does come naturally. I don't entirely think so. I mean, part of that comes with learning the trick on how to do it. Some people are just, you know, more maybe, you know, naturally akin towards that, but there's a lot of people out there that, you know, despite that, need to be a little bit more harnessed and trained into it. Like a lot of social behaviors, it's something that people, you know, kind of pick up. You know, it's not necessarily something they just have. But either way, I'm just, like, fucking pissed. Because, like, I mean, like, mainly just due to our fucking healthcare system in this country. It is so backwards, so fucking broken. And it's just, like, you know, and it's just more, like, of a cost negative, and just more about how, like, how a motherfucker could suffer and shit, more so than how do we, like, you know, help someone get sick. Or, you know, get help from being sick and shit, or from being hurt. It's the exact opposite. It's like, how do we prolong your sickness? How do we prolong your fucking suffering? How do we prolong your injuries so you can be hooked up to our fucking drugs and chemicals so we can make a fucking profit? That's what the pharmaceutical industry and the fucking, you know, healthcare industry in the United States is about. How much drugs, fucking, you know, and chemicals, how much fucking shit, you know, do you have, you know, that we can extort you out of, and how much money do you have that we can rape off of you? Like, how much? You know, because if it ain't little, if it's very little to none at all, then you ain't getting dick. And if anything, you'll constantly, you know, be denied any form of healthcare, and it will be like healthcare doesn't even fucking exist. Because it doesn't. Saudi princes come here for healthcare, curious? Yeah, because they have such incestuous, backwater, hick, fucking Middle Eastern healthcare that is worthless, and they have to fucking take it off of our tax dollars. They have to take it off of a proper working man's tax dollar and shit because they're using a bunch of fucking sex slaves and a bunch of slave labor to fucking fund theirs. Which, granted, is backwater and piss. Oh, wait, they're using our tax dollars to pay for their healthcare over there, too. Wow, our taxes go into Saudi fucking rackhead fucking healthcare, and also goes into fucking tiny little yarmulke fucking, you know, healthcare and shit in Israel, too. Go fucking figure. Let's give our healthcare and our taxes to the fancy people and, you know, religious backwater barbarian fucking hats and shit. And fucking backwards, you know, fucking savagery and shit. Let's, you know, give our tax dollars, let's give our money to them. Not to us. We don't deserve that shit. The fucking Israelis and the Saudis deserve that. They deserve our fucking healthcare. They deserve our fucking taxes. They deserve our fucking, you know, shit. Not us. Man, I'd glass those fucking nations, man. Holy shit, dude. I'd fucking do a total, like, regime change of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the one country I absolutely want to see a regime change of. We need to outright take out that fucking royal monarch incest raghead fucking piece of trash. That fucking savage. He needs to be, like, fucked. Like, seriously. Like, I'm an advocate for regime change of Saudi Arabia. I don't care, damn the consequences. Fuck them. Fuck monarchies. Fuck that Islamic theocracy shithole. Fuck them. I don't know how I got, you know, vented into that shit, but I don't care. Like, fuck them. They're a backwater. And they fucking stab ass in the back every fucking second and allow us to suffer even more. They, like, the Saudis are there to prop up fucking corporations and the fucking fossil fuel industry, and then they fucking jack off all over us and fucking bust the nuts, you know, all over our fucking face with their fucking oil money and their fucking healthcare money and our taxes. That's what Saudi Arabia is existing for. And that needs to be fucking leveled to dust and ash and fire. It needs to burn. Arguable for Israel. Nah. They're both about the same. They're both about equal. The same crimes while doing it. Yeah. And also the same fucking Nazis and the anti-Semites will tell you that, oh, let's hide behind the Holocaust and actual, like, you know, evil and depravity while we enact the same exact fucking crimes. While we advocate for the same crimes and the same type of shit. Hey.
I'm broken.
What is that, like a full-on, like, arm brace? Like, was something cracked in there?
No, they just gave me it, so it makes me so I can't move my hand.
Oh.
How are you?
Not happy.
Why? What's up?
Well, mom's not doing fucking great at all, and, like, needs me to be down there, but because I'm fucking working, I can't exact call in. You know, and with the considering the family emergency shit, like I could leave early, but that's about all I could do. And I don't really know what the fuck is going on entirely. It ain't like a blood infection like she got a couple weeks back, so some other bullshit. And tried hitting her up, you know, talked to my brother a little bit about it. And he's like the only one that gave me like some sense of like, alright, things maybe aren't as horrible, but like everyone else was fucking putting the fear of God in me.
So it's not life-threatening?
I don't fucking know. I think it, honestly, from what it sounds like, it is. But I can't tell. I don't fucking know what's going on with her right now. I would, but fuck. Like, I wake up to, like, 5 missed calls, you know, all from, like, you know, my brother and then, like, you know, one of my mom's friends and my dad, too. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And then I, like, wake up to my dog, you know, like, jumping all over me and shit. And then my dad was trying to, like, get me to go see her. I'm just like, I looked at the time. I'm like, I got work in, like, just a tad over an hour. And then I got a message about, you know, a number to call her. And I was like, okay, here, let me just call her really quick. And I did that. And I told her, it's like, I can't really do much right now, but when I get up there, I can, you know, try to figure out how to get, you know, to see you later, you know, today. But it just can't be, like, at this moment. Like, so I don't fucking know. I'm stressed out. I literally woke up stressed, in a fight mood, and want to fight. Like, that's kind of my mood now. I'm ready to, like, you know, some fisticuffs or some shit.
Where's mom at?
Hospital just down the street. So it's like a 15... Yeah, it's not that far of a walk. I mean, I could walk down.
I didn't walk. I fucking drove.
I know, you can drive it.
I was fucking literally, like, I was fucking in pain this morning. And I fucking, like, literally, if I tried squeezing the handle, I felt like somebody was stabbing me in my fucking hand.
It might have cracked.
No, they took x-rays. It's not cracked. There's no broken bones. It's
torn ligament?
Tendon.
Ugh. Ow.
So, I'll be out for a week.
Damn.
But I have sick time.
And either stable later or it's likely utterly broken up his powers, all in this concept, but that's just a nuclear World War III level hot take. I mean, you know, when it comes to shit at this point, there just needs to be, like, honestly, like a line of sand with stuff. Including shit like that, too. On national levels, or international level, I guess.
Well...
Because, like, goddamn.
If I'm feeling better later, if you want to go, I'll drive you down there. I'll drive you down somewhere.
Well, I think my dad's doing that anyway. I think he's going back and forth. He's taking a nap right now, but it seems like he's been up all day.
Well, keep me posted online.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping others keep me posting shit, and I haven't even really been posted that much information in the first place. So, it's also why I'm pissed off. Like, usually when shit like this happens, I'm like one of the last few to really like figure shit out. It's like, what the fuck?
Yep.
It's like, can I not be like one of the last to like, you know, find out what the fuck is happening to my own damn mom? It's like I haven't like, you know, talked to her that much lately, you know, in the last week or two because I've been kind of busy and stuff. But fuck, I mean, at the very least, like, let me be one of the first people to find shit out.
Did they tell you could leave early?
Huh?
Did they tell you could leave early?
I haven't like hit my work up about it, but since I'm going up there very shortly anyway, I mean,
Literally, tell me. No, don't talk to Missy. She's in a pissy mood.
I'm not gonna hit her up. I'm gonna talk to my. I'm gonna talk to my, you know, my department director about that, like my department manager. I'm talking to her to it,
like,
cause she's chill. Like she's like, she would totally understand. She already gets that, you know. It's like.
I brought my letter that I got from my doctor to be for a week out.
Yeah.
I took it to Missy, and she was all bitchy about it. And she's like, "We'll talk to Aaron about it." Aaron already fucking knows. I'm taking a fucking week off, bitch.
Yeah.
Aaron's like, well, how long are you out? I'm like, a week. He's like, right, that's fine. I mean, he's not happy about it.
But, you know, you can't...
But I have to fucking heal.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean,
and
shit.
It's not bad. It's not better than a week. I have to go back.
Yeah. But at least, you know, you have the week, you know, to let it help heal and shit anyway, even if it's not totally, you know, healed up.
Yeah.
But still.
But if it still hurts... coming closer to that day, I'm just like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had anything this bad. And if you want to tonight, this is the only night I can do. So.
Yeah, whatever. So if it should have Roland Lycan no use of atomics on human worlds. That's never gonna happen. Good fucking luck. Frankly, it's just like, I mean, there definitely needs to be like, you know, fucking lines saying when it comes to shit, cause I get sick of just this consistent fucking like same old bullshit type of thing. I don't mean just like on, you know, just like national fucking like outright national levels too. I mean just across the fucking board. Cause it's just like, I mean, there's all this fucking energy, just all this fucking angst, it's all this fucking like shit where people want things different, but yet just you know, just don't do anything about it. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, are we just seriously under that much of an oppressive fucking gun here? So I'm gonna scan for mom. I know it's the equivalent of thoughts and prayers, but possibly spiritual. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, again, like, I mean, what can I fucking do? There ain't nothing I can really do either. So I just watch, basically. Thanks, America Healthcare. We're fucking, like, rich fucking cocksucker savages, you know, take advantage of our shit while, you know, we get to fucking suffer and have our, you know, deaths prolonged. While fat cat motherfuckers like in Saudi Arabia get to, you know, take all the nice privilege and luxury to take advantage of our fucking shit. Fuck them. Fuck these rich-ass politicians, these cocksuckers, and these fucking insurance companies. Capital punishment should be absolutely fucking 100% a fucking punishment for these insurance companies. Absolutely. For all the death and suffering and fucking crimes they've committed to, like, just, not just the American people, but just, like, people on this fucking planet in general. Like, I mean, it doesn't even come close, in my opinion. I kind of see that America's only point of view. I don't. I still think that's bullshit. Yeah, fuck that shit too. Fuck these weird racist fucks that just only want white people to fucking be in this country. Fuck them too. They're under the same gun, you know, that I'm giving everyone else here. Think they're innocent? Oh hell no. In fact, they're especially in this country right here, in the red, white, and blue. They're my fucking main source of my vitriol. Like, they're the ones who, you know, it's like, you know, I got, you know, the direct issues with. Yeah, at least here. In the old white, and blue here. Like, when it comes to, like, everywhere else, yeah, maybe, sure, not as much. But, like, here, that's, you know, the root of a lot of different, at least social issues and social plight. And economic plight for a lot of various different, you know, minority groups anyway. So it's just like, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they get the same fucking vitriol just as much as the rest of these fuckers. Because they just want to have that privilege and luxury for themselves, but for nobody else, just because, you know, like, you know, fucking John Bob, you know, Thornton fuck over there, and then, like, you know, motherfucking Barbara, you know, had, like, 8,000 kids, you know, and fucking, you know, scarfing Big Macs all damn day, and fucking bumblefuck backwater trailer, you know, trash town, fucking 8,626, and bumblefuck state of fucking Mississippi or some shit. It's like, you don't get the luxury of having healthcare and no one else does. It's like, you should get healthcare, but guess what? You know, the black family, you know, right down the street from your fucking trailer, you know, gets it too, bitch. The fucking undocumented or documented immigrant that comes to this fucking country gets it too. So, fuck your vitriolic shit. Fuck your white-ass trash, you know, fucking mentality. It's obsolete, and it's just as savage as the fucking rich-ass Saudis that come here to, you know, exploiting your fucking ass, you know, your racist white ass, you know, for fucking healthcare and shit, and extorting your fucking taxes. So, congratulations, you're getting fucked, and you're letting yourself get fucked. Good job, dumb fuck hick. What a way to be a part of the problem. Fucking snowflake ass little bitch. Never send your enemy or risks making their mistakes. Sure. But at the same time, you gotta also be unapologetic about it too. There needs to be a level of being unapologetic and aggressive to the opposition. Because they are. They're open about it. Especially when it comes to the white supremacists, like, they're absolutely open about being unapologetic and fervently aggressive. Like, I mean, it's, you know, it's like, if they're willing to, you know, go to those type of fucking lengths of being unapologetic and aggressive, we need to have, you know, a level of that ourselves. Absolutely. That doesn't mean to go to their fucking level, but that means to at least, you know, understand, like, what the fuck they're gonna do. Or at least are capable of doing. Especially considering, you know, the shit that, you know, happens behind all of our fucking backs anyway. And considering that that is the root of why that shit happens in the first place, too. Because you have these rich-ass fucks who, you know, manipulate their fucking ignorance and stupidity. And the stupidity of the American populace. And, you know, divide them over this stupid shit. Hatred against hatred just breeds more hate. It's like saying that, you know, like, being intolerant of intolerance, you know, makes you intolerant. No, it doesn't. Just turns into a cycle. I don't really agree with that. I really honestly don't. Like, that's like the idea of, like, you know, if you're intolerant to intolerance, then you're not tolerant. It's like, it's a paradox. No, it's not. Like, it doesn't turn into a cycle unless you know, it's just literally, like, you know, going down of, like, no, fuck, you know, fuck them. I literally will not have, like, anything to do with them and shit. Like, I'm specifically, you know, hitting, like, you know, ideological shit. I'm not just, you know, going for, like, you know, just random motherfucks. Because at the end of the day, it's just like, you know, if they're gonna be that fucking stupid and, you know, be gun-ho and fucking, you know, try to, you know, push to the stars for their fucking ideology that, you know, is fucking them over like that, I don't got fucking, you know, like, any real sympathy for those fucks. But there's plenty of people out there that, you know, aren't, you know, gun-ho shooting for the stars with that shit. Granted, maybe are dumb enough to maybe believe in some of that shit, but aren't, you know, outright fucking, you know, going gun-ho fucking Nazi. Like, news people. And I don't disagree with that. But if you're gonna, you know, try to tell me that, like, you know, someone like a Matt Walsh type, or, like, you know, fucking loyalists, you know, to someone like him, or, like, you know, to the hardcore loyalist cult and shit, that is like a lot of this, you know, far-right extremist fundamentalist evangelicalism and fascism, then, I mean, when it comes to that type of shit, that's a little bit of a, you know, different breed right there. Matt Walsh is a grifter, who also is an ideological crusader for his fucking ideology and agenda. Like, I mean, he's not, like, I mean, I get the whole idea of grifter, but don't fucking let it be a definition that is dead and beaten to a pulp. Because, like, a lot, there are, levels of these right-wing fucks that aren't just grifters. They have, like, ascended beyond just making money off of it. They made it an ideological crusade, and they're willing to literally, like, see blood shed in the streets for it. And Matt Walsh is that person. He's someone who has ascended the idea of being a grifter and wants to do ideological bloodshed and, like, blood and soil shit. Like, that's not a grifter at that point. That's a crusader, for an ideology. That's someone pushing a narrative and an agenda, and a violent one at that. Like, small names that are kind of obscure, like, even some of the ones on Daily Wire types, like Brett Cooper or whatever the fuck, like, yeah, sure, maybe they're grifters, but people like Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, Candace Owens, they're not grifters anymore. They're stochastic terrorists and fucking outright propagandists for a specific narrative, and they have an ideological bent towards that narrative. Like, it's more than just money to them. They believe that shit, and they believe it with their hearts, and they're gonna fucking advocate it until they die. Like, and they have openly have said that. I'm not saying that as, like, a threat or anything. They have said that shit. Matt Walsh and these type of people have openly said, I will die fighting for this. I will die fighting for theocratic fascism to be instituted in the United States. And to be, and for the United States to be co-opted by a fascistic theocracy. They advocate that, and they are the ones who are saying they will die fighting for it. If the idea of hating and fucking being intolerant, if that shit somehow makes, breeds more hate or intolerance, then fuck. Then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Because honestly, like, that absolutely deserves hate. That absolutely deserves intolerance. That deserves to be, like, eradicated from the public sphere of, like, the cultural zeitgeist. Like, let it be an obscure fucking idea that some dumb fuck, in obscure places, believe in, but never goes farther than that. Because that's all that idea ever deserves. Is to just be some weird niche thing that, some dork fuck who's an outcast, shit gets to believe in. And that's it, because he has no real fucking influence. That's what it should be. These white supremacists deserve to be an outcast. They should be. These fascists should be. They got no place in public society, especially one that is, built to, like, be, to at least move forward and at least prosper. Fascism is fundamentally incapable of that, especially in a modern society. Fundamentally. Because honestly, these things don't bother me as much as I know they should, and that kind of bothers me. Well, I guess I'll say this much, you're not sociopathic because of that. If you're able to kind of recognize that it doesn't really bother you as much, but that in itself bothers you, then you're not sociopathic. At least it's not in my mind. At least I wouldn't necessarily consider that. Why if I not just care about anything? I think it's just because, like, frankly, I mean, you and, like, many other Americans are probably just, like, kind of beaten down from it. I mean, I am. I mean, it's why I get pissed about it. Because I don't want to fucking get to a level where I don't give a shit, because I have been in that mentality before. And frankly, it kind of does suck. I mean, there's plenty of things to be, pessimistic about, and cynical about our system for sure. I'm not even going to fucking invalidate that. But, like, I mean, you can't just let that, be turned into, like, fuck it. I mean, because if so, then that's how the status quo has continued to have perpetuated. It's because of people just saying, fuck it. I mean, even if it's like you're still kind of going through the motions a little bit, if you're not, doing the fuck it type of mentality, just who cares, then there's at least still a challenge to it. And there's at least, still some sort of, like, boat rock to it. Because I've always, advocated, even just merely, talking about, like, like the shit I'm talking now, it's like, that in itself does, do something. Even as, what are you doing? Oh, there's a fly. He's trying to go after a fly. But Sukov getting all tense. He's getting aggressive, trying to hunt this fly down, just like. That's why I say he'll go down in history at best, or go down fighting for liberty at worst. Just a nameless nobody. I'm a fucking nameless nobody, dude. You think those people that quote-unquote went down in history or went down fighting, are fucking, people that had a name for themselves at first? Fuck no. In fact, most of them were fucking nobodies even when doing that shit. In fact, most of them are, to an extent. I mean, it's like a lot, you know, it's like, you think, like, I mean, like, there's like 1,000 different types of, like, you know, like, names, you know, from, like, the French Revolution. I mean, sure, there is, but, like, I mean, all in all, that doesn't mean, like, everyone knows every fucking name. We only know the big ones. We only know the ones that, you know, like, we were taught through in history, despite the thousands of people involved in that. Down from the commoner to, like, you know, the, like, the philosophers to the fucking, like, you know, generals. Like, there was all sorts of, you know, big names and shit, but, you know, with those people in mind, there was thousands more who were just as important. In fact, even some ways maybe more important that we don't recognize. They've gained some sort of immortality. What, just because of, like, me having these streams and stuff? I mean, I guess, but that doesn't necessarily make it immune to, like, mortality or whatever. I mean, for example, just look at, like, you know, people like Paul Ziegel with his channel Ideology. That got dinged, and all of his stuff from 15 plus some years of videos and streams that he did are gone. Unless, you know, people downloaded and re-uploaded them. But, you know, all of those videos that he did, just gone. I mean, they ain't there on the internet no more. Well, I mean, they are, but not publicly. So, it's just like, sure, but it's not immune to that type of shit. Listen to your NS, or get fucked by tube. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying now, but, I mean, I'm still a nobody. And frankly, like, honestly, we don't really know for a fact, like, you know, what history is gonna, you know, perceive people who are, like, content creators or on this type of level. Like, you know, we don't know how history is gonna view people like TJ Kirk or Vosh or Demon Mama or that type of shit. You know, all these other type of people that people know of. Or, like, Destiny or some shit. Just, you know, naming these people. I mean, granted, they definitely probably will be in, like, a history textbook of some sort, but, you know, like, on how significant level, I don't know. I don't think we're ever going to really truly know that, and, you know, because, well, we will be history at that point. I mean, frankly, there's a lot of, like, you know, things within history that, you know, just simply don't necessarily get looked into as much. So, like, even if, you know, to some extent I, like, somehow have, like, you know, a little chunk of my life, you know, in the history books, so to speak, I mean, it's probably not going to be, you know, that super significant. I'm just going to be, like, one of those voices that was just, like, you know, part of the bigger amalgamation of people who, and there was just people that definitely had a lot more of a bigger reach. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the idea, and, like, because, I mean, think about it, like, I mean, another example is, like, the Civil Rights Movement. Like, think about how many fucking people were involved with that. Like, think of how, like, how many people partook in such a historical event. And just, not just in this country's history, but just in history in general. That was a big historical thing. That, you know, was international. It wasn't just in America where that shit was going on. That shit was happening everywhere. It's like, how many fucking names, you know, were in that? You know, but who are the names that we do know? You know, like, we know of Rosa Parks, MLK, Malcolm X, you know, like, we know all these names. But how many names do we not know of that did just as impactful things, or, and maybe in some extent, even more impactful?
Your mom's wanting to see you.
I already fucking hit her up about that. I have work today, so I can't, like, see her now, but, like, I've already dealt with that, or try to figure that shit out. I don't watch those streams ever again. At least there's some record of you, proof you existed. Sure, but at the same time, there's proof that, you know, other nobodies have existed out there as well. I mean, like, just because, like, you're, yeah, what my point at least is saying is that just because you happen to be, you know, a nobody to some extent, like, I mean, you know, it's like, that doesn't mean that you'll have at least some sort of level of impact. Because you're saying that if I have at least some level of, like, proof of my existence, you do too then, by proxy. Because who's participating on the shit, you know, that I'm doing? You. Even if you're just listening, you know, not really saying much. You know, that's other proof right there. I mean, even, again, as much as small as it is, it shows that, you know, not only was I doing my thing and proof that I existed in a sense, even though there's a plethora of other things out there for that, I mean, you know, there's also evidence and proof because of that other people did. And, you know, were interacting with me, being social. You know, part of, you know, the human condition broadly of that. So. Still angsty, but feeling always better, I guess. Still definitely want to fucking just like... Still in that mood. Just fuck. You know what? I know it'll help. Turn this fucker on. If you watched the Orville episode where they find an ancient smartphone used to create a simulation of modern day. Well, I haven't seen the Orville yet, so I mean, is it like an episode I would have to like watch other episodes for? Or is it just kind of like, you know, kind of like Star Trek, where it's one of those episodes to where there's not too much of a plot, even if there's kind of a loosely connected bigger plot? Because there's plenty of like Star Trek episodes you could do that with, despite kind of having like a broader story connected, you know, with the show. Like, you know, there's half of the episodes usually in a season aren't really necessarily outright. It's kind of a one-off, but later seasons reference it. Okay, so basically it's kind of like, you know, how Star Trek has done their episodes before. Stepping on his toy. In a later episode, it's a direct sequel. Okay. So it's kind of like, you know, just one of the different side stories that are just kind of loosely connected to the bigger story. Okay. Well, I'll probably use it as a way to get into the Orville, because I know you've told me that, like, the first, like, season or two aren't really as, like, great, so to speak, but, like, everything else from there is pretty solid. So, I'll at least check that out and then, you know, start watching Orville, because I've been meaning to, honestly. I've been hearing, you know, especially lately, like, a lot of really good things about it. So, basically Star Trek with Seth MacFarlane. Well, from what I've heard, isn't that what Seth MacFarlane actually wanted to do? Like, he wanted to actually legit do a Star Trek, like a legit one, from what I understand, but he couldn't get the licensing rights to it, so he just made the Orville instead. And basically made it super loosely, tangentially kind of, you know, referential. Well, maybe not, like, loosely, but loose enough to where it's its own thing and they can't, you know, get sued because, like, oh, this Star Trek. Season 1 and 2 are a bit rough, but good if you like Seth, you'll probably enjoy the humor. Yeah, I kind of like Seth MacFarlane. I mean, some of his humor can be kind of dull sometimes, you know, I mean, mainly just because, I mean, if you got, like, Family Guy, American Dad and shit, like, I mean, you know, like, you'll notice there's a lot of times where the humor is a little dry, but, I mean, when it hits, though, it hits good. Like, I mean, you know, his humor, like, when it is on point, it is on point. Like, I mean, you know, so when he's funny, he's fucking funny. You know, but when he misses the mark, he misses the mark. I mean, he's definitely, like, one of those guys. Like, he's good, but, and definitely, really funny, but every now and then, you know, he can have a miss. But honestly, like, I kind of like that about him, though. Like, he's, he puts something out there. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. He just puts it out there. Like, he's not really trying to make, like, the most perfect joke every fucking time. So, I at least respect that out of him. He's not trying to be, like, this, like, artisan or some shit with it. He's just like, he's a comedian. He just puts something out there. If he thinks it's funny, he puts it out there and doesn't give a shit. And I kind of like that. It's more comedy. 2 is more balanced comedy and maturity. In season 3 where it hits the stride, you understand what I mean? Yeah, like usually most shows tend to go for a rough spot, you know, kind of trying to find its like kind of balance, so to speak, and I think that's kind of what MacFarlane was doing there a little bit. You wanted to get some of the jokes out to kind of make it at least establish the humor of it, to show that this isn't meant to be a super serious show. But at the same time, we want it to be, so we'll show you where like some of the actual story maturity comes in, and you know, and then we'll actually, you know, kind of flesh out, you know, where the show's going to go from there. If I had to take a guess, it kind of seems like where MacFarlane was kind of going with it. Because, I mean, he definitely has a gumption to be a legit, like, serious dude. And, like, all in all, like, I mean, he, you know, he hits it pretty well. Like, when it comes to different commentary, you know, when he does the more mature elements of his, you know, like, of his, like, sets and work and all that shit. I was trying to, like, his art, really. Just broadly art. I was trying to find the word for it. I like their takes on transracial issues. Well, yeah, because isn't Seth MacFarlane kind of progressive? Not like full on lefty, but like liberal progressive and shit. Not to be spoiling, but an all-male race has a female baby and freaks the fuck out. They force her to be a boy, but later one of the parents feels bad and lets her choose what she wants to be, and she chooses to be a girl. So they like try to force transition their child to be, you know, something that they all normally are in society, but obviously they didn't like that and didn't want that, and kind of came to an introspection and realization. It sounds like a more positive ending to a Star Trek, the original series episode. The Court does that? Really? The Court? Damn. Yeah, but it sounds like a happy ending of this one episode that I remember distinctively, where Kirk and the Enterprise go to this planet that's having like a literal fat, like, planetary civil war, basically. And it's literally because the alien race there are like these, literally like half black and half white, like literally like vertically, you know, half on their, you know, of their body. And half of them have, you know, black on one side, you know, like on the right side of their face, but the other half of them have it on the left side of their face, you know, or, you know, left side of their body, basically. And it basically is like a major commentary about, like, you know, racism and, like, you know, and exclusion and, like, you know, segregation and shit like that. Because basically, broadly, the summary is that, like, the planet got to a point, you know, that they were, you know, like, segregated, and so like has such animosity just literally due to the fact that, you know, they had a different pattern on their skin, basically, not just a skin color but just a pattern of, you know, their skin type, you know, in this case, you know, and basically literally wiped themselves out besides these two people that were left. And the Enterprise, you know, when they showed up, that was pretty much what they came to, and these two were literally trying to fight each other on the Enterprise and shit, and basically try to be like, yo, y'all need to, like, you know, come to terms. Like, you're literally are the last two of your fucking race. Like, y'all just killed each other, basically. Like, just stop. And they just wouldn't. So they put him back on the planet and, you know, and just forced him to stay there, basically. And one of them eventually killed the other, and then the other killed himself. It's, like, literally a grim, dark fucking episode, honestly. It shows that the original series, as cheesy as it is, has some pretty dark fucking episodes, honestly. And that's why that episode's kind of stuck with me, because it's legit kind of like a fuck, dude, episode. Because an entire alien race, basically, you know, in summary, just wiped themselves out, literally just due to xenophobia and racism. Basically. Like, they literally just wiped each other out and basically created a fucking tomb world of just nothing. And the Enterprise is there to witness the very last little bit of it, and it's just like, fuck, that's some dark shit. Like, legit. Spoiling like good stuff, but I got stuff you have to watch. I mean, like I said, like, the episode you're talking about kind of sounds like more of a happy ending version of what I'm talking about. Because, like I said, the episode that I was referring to, at least in the Star Trek kind of, you know, it may, honestly, would not be surprised if that episode you're talking about is referential to it. On how this all-male race isn't really all-male. Well, I would, you know, presume that would be the case anyway. Because, like, I mean, we see that in, you know, natural life as it is right now. Like, I mean, there's different species of reptiles, avians, and different animals that are, like, all female or, like, all male. But, you know, when it comes to reproduction, then, I mean, they're still able to reproduce. And there's, mainly it's because despite having, you know, like, an all one's, like, sex biology, there's elements about that sexual biology that still has elements about, like, being, you know, male or vice versa, to where they're able to still reproduce. It's really complex and really interesting. Females are far more common than they say, but force transition them at birth and don't tell them the truth. I wonder what that sounds like. Only it's the exact opposite. Instead of force, well, I guess it is still technically forced transitioning, because, like, if you have a trans person that obviously, you know, identifies with the other gender / sex and shit, and you're forcing them to stay in that, you know, in the body that they don't identify with. I mean, you're kind of forcibly, I mean, not transitioning, but forcibly, like, keeping them in a position that they don't want to be in. And the Union can't force them to stop doing this because these particular aliens are the weapon manufacturers of the Federation. And there's a two-front war going on. Damn. So their political pressure is just to let them do what they want and to keep them happy. What does that sound like? Why does that sound so fucking familiar? Oh, wait. America, you know, giving a bunch of money and weapons, you know, shit to other countries and they could do literally whatever the fuck they want? Huh. Probably totally not a commentary about that. I mean, like I was saying from earlier, like, you know, Seth MacFarlane is, you know, genuinely kind of progressive a bit. Like I said, he's not like full-on lefty type, but he's at least like kind of like liberal progressive. So like a lot of the commentary of his, you know, of his shows and a lot of his skits and stuff, like, I mean, you can infer a lot of, you know, legit kind of like anti-status quo type of commentary and messaging. I would say, anything except the one final war, survival versus genocidal robots. What? Wait, what are robots coming to play? Is there another episode that talks about that? Gotta stop spoiling shit. Wait, so there's an Orville episode about that? Don't worry about spoiling super crazy shit, like one particular episode like that. Worry about more bigger plot points, you know, like, or character development shit. I mean, if it's like a particular episode, I don't really care too much about that. Just don't go over every fucking episode. Season 2's overall plot. Well, okay, well, yeah, I mean, a general synopsis about stuff like that, I mean, I don't really care too much as much. I'm not like a hardcore fucking, like, stooge about spoilers. Like, certain things a little bit, like, I'm a little bit more even with it, like, when it comes to, like, more specific, like, obvious, very pinnacle shit, sure, but at least when it comes to, like, shows, like, if there's, like, one episode they happen to talk about, or, like, maybe spoil a detail or two of a episode or something, or even a broad synopsis, you know, of a season or something, I'm not gonna really care about that. Honestly, in some cases, like, spoilers like that tend to get me more hooked on, you know, wanting to check something out. Like, you know, don't spoil me with, like, super crazy shit, but, like, give me, you know, at least enough of a spoiler to get me hooked into something. Be like, oh, really? Oh, okay, maybe I should check it out. You know, that shit. You know, it's like, people get too fucking bent up over spoilers sometimes, because they think, like, you know, any spoiler, like, will ruin things, and it's like, at least for me, not really. Some spoilers actually get me wanting to check something out, and, like, actually see, like, how something develops, you know, to get to that point or some shit, you know what I mean? Like, you know, sometimes, you know, like, I get more intrigued on a thing because of a more soft spoiler. I guess that's kind of like, you know, where I infer it. It's like there's soft spoils where, you know, I see it more as like something that can hook you in, or it's not really as impactful of a spoiler, and then you got like hard spoils where you probably don't want those being shared because that will probably ruin it a little bit. And that I can understand being generally being like, what the fuck about. So, let's just say the way they beat the robots is very wholesome. Very wholesome? That's kind of weird. See, that's kind of like a soft spoil right there, you know what I mean? Because now I'm hooked. Like, a wholesome, like, way to beat robot. How the fuck? Like, that just sounds so random. So, it's just like, you know, don't go farther than that, but, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, like, that right there is, like, a hook. Like, huh? Like, alright, I definitely need to check this out. Like, what? One of them develops emotions. I'm already seeing so much referential shit, you know, when it comes to, like, Star Trek, honestly. Dude, it just shows that Seth MacFarlane so badly wanted to do his own Star Trek show. And this is just his way of doing it, because, like, there's so many different things to, like, just with that alone, I'm immediately thinking of, like, the TNG episode where Data, you know, expresses his emotions for the first time and shit. You know, so, like, and honestly, like, I mean, pretty sure like a two-parter episode, and both of them are fucking great. Like pretty much any episode that is Data centric is fucking great, because Data is a great character. Season 1 has a planet where people are born under the wrong star sign, are put in concentration camps. What the fuck? Jeez. Here. Get a little tunish. At least a little tunish before I go work this for a little bit. Personally, wouldn't invade that one, especially considering they imprisoned Union officers. I mean, well, that could, yeah, be seen as an act of war. So, yeah. Though I would mostly just be like, hey, we're gonna impose, like, a lot of fucking heavy diplomatic pressure, and including, but not limited to, invading you. So, give us our officers back, and, stop doing this, or, face the wrath of the Federation. I think civilization would be really pissy after said officers stage a riot and kill multiple guards, trying to escape. Yeah. What, they didn't? Where every government action is voted on, based. I like that, including trials. Maybe that's a little too far, because isn't that like the whole point of like the jury of your peers? Isn't that where the whole like democracy element comes into the like? That's a little. I feel like how would that work? Like, I'm actually curious, like, I mean, on that one. Is it just, like, basically, like... Because, honestly, I feel like, I mean, if you, like, have everything about a court process voted on, that's just, like, overly bureaucratic. Like, I mean, that just seems a little overkill. I mean, that's why you got, like, the lawyers and then the jury, and, like, everything else, because that's meant to be kind of, like, the representation / like, balance, and the more democratic elements of the court. If Lucy try to get corrected, and the society isn't developed enough to do that with turning the victim, without turning the victim into a vegetable. So they basically, like, lobotomize them or something? Stellaris nerve staple. You mean just so lobotomy? You just get lobotomized. Yeah, it's a direct democracy, but hey, if you get corrected, you just get lobotomized. Like, Jesus. Man, wow, it seems like there's some problems with that. I'm sure I'm leaving key commentary out. I'm sure you are, but still. It's definitely a good show. I mean, yeah, it definitely does sound like a good show. Like I said, I've heard enough, from different people, saying that it's good, for me to at least want to check it out. and just being curled up in a little ball. So cute. Really want to talk more about the robot plot twist, so I don't give all. Yeah, just. I mean, I'll eventually at some point get to watching the show, but yeah. I mean, just hold up on that one for a while. Come here, wheat. Come here, going to. They also have a lot of musical scores, which is another Trek reference. Yeah, Star Trek has a lot of original soundtrack. I mean, there's like the different iterations of the original theme song. Bum, bum, ba, da, 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 da. And then you got like da 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 da. It's like, and they're all epic in their own way too. It's like, honestly, like all the it's hard for me to say which, like, if there's a bad track in any of the original soundtracks for Star Trek, honestly, because they're all like awesome, especially theme songs. Like the theme songs are fucking just great. On screen where the actors sing something or they have an in-ship orchestra. Okay, that. Oh wait. Okay, there's like wait. So they do like a musical thing. I mean, having a ship orchestra, like, I mean, I feel like that's probably more of like a background thing in the Next Generation and shit. But I mean, that's not really like a Trek reference though. At least not that I'm aware of. Unless there's like something sometimes do karaoke night as part of the comedy. I mean, it's okay. I mean, honestly, it doesn't sound anything, I'm against, so whatever, alright. Check out a lot of musical scenes where they watch an orchestra. Yeah. That's what I was saying, like, at least in the Next Generation, there was different things like that. Like, I mean, that's a little bit more of a thing, in TNG, not so much in, like, other Treks, though. So it's not like a really major reference point. I mean, I guess it is a little bit, but, I mean, not entirely. Because also Star Trek is, at least TNG wasn't, like, the only show to have, like, an orchestra, being kind of like a part of the scene and shit like that. Orville does that a couple times specifically. But it's mixed in with karaoke. Huh. Interesting. Well, I mean, I'll have to at least just check it out, because obviously there's, key commentary or key things that I'm, obviously missing. I know I have seen some clips of the Orville, because, at least every now and then when I'm browsing YouTube Shorts or just on YouTube, I'll see some clips in there and shit. And I'll watch them and stuff, and honestly, like, at least the clips I have seen are actually pretty funny. It strikes me as a mix of Picard and Kirk. Yeah, every time I see, like, Seth's character, he kind of reminds me of that a little bit, too. I think that's the point. I think it's meant to be a mix of the two. Kind of a little bit of, like, the spunk of Kirk, but a lot of, like, the maturity of Picard at the same time. Picard's patience and Kirk's get-done attitude. Yeah, yeah. That's another way to put it. That's kind of generally how I see it. It's like got Kirk's Kirk's, like, get it done, like, kind of suave attitude a little bit, but also has, like, Picard's, like, kind of patience and philosophical intel like that, as well at times. And a lot more kind of, like, has elements of sophistication that, pops out. But I think that's kind of the point. Like, I mean, I think, he wanted to have, like, some of the more comedic elements of his character be kind of more of Kirk's kind of suave, get-done attitude type of thing a little bit. And the more mature elements of his character were meant to be kind of like the Picard side of him. Which makes sense. I mean, just kind of, you know, seeing like that. Unless he's dealing with his ex or a woman that he likes and he turns into a typical dumb man. So Kirk. So Kirk is like, woman, I say pussy, I want to fuck it. I become dumb man really quick. I see woman, I want. I mean, that's kind of Kirk in a nutshell if you really think about it. Dude, Kirk has honestly has like gone for the alien poom poom, you know, a few times in the original series, literally over some hubris and shit, dude. Like, he's done that literally, like, you know, in detriment of, you know, the crew and shit sometimes, or to himself. Not all the time. But he straight up has done that sometimes. And it's just like, oh my god, Kirk, what the fuck? It's like the alien poom poom ain't worth it, bro. It's like you don't have to fucking smash every alien. In later scenes, Dust is better, so it morphs into a will that they, type of thing where they don't tease and get back together. I knew seeing Richard Series CBH, I'm relying on what my dad told me of him for himself for info on it. I mean, like I said, you know, the original series can be very cheesy and kind of silly at times, especially with some of the acting. But honestly, like I was saying from earlier about like that Grimdark episode I was talking about, they have a lot of really good episodes. And, you know, like, just like any Trek, like there's gonna be some cheesy episodes, there's gonna be kind of some, you know, dry episodes, but there's also some really great episodes as well. And you know, it's no different. Like, it's, you know, it's more cheesier than the other Treks for sure, but like I said, it's got like some really good episodes in there. Like the episode I was talking about with like that alien race that basically wiped each other out over like their like differences in their skin pigment and shit, like that's a really good episode to get into. Because it's like one of those more grim, dark commentary episodes that is very, like, you know, like very in-depth with social commentary and the plot more so than, like, other things like cheesiness and other shit. I mean, granted, it is old, so, you know, it's still gonna have, like, a soft level of cheese, but, I mean, it's a good cheese. Like, for me, I like the cheese. I like this original series cheese. Especially when it's really cheesy. Because when you're stoned, it's really fun to watch and you get a little giggle. Is that Rick and Morty? Is that what Rick and Morty was referring to with the Unity episode with the Hive Mind Planet, that the Hive fails and do a race war? Cone nipples versus pointy nipples? Yeah. I think so. I know the episode you're talking about with that, and I'm pretty sure it's referential to that episode of Star Trek. I mean, Rick and Morty is not, like, you know, a stranger to having a lot of different sci-fi references in it. So, yeah. I mean, honestly, it sounds like it. I mean, I'll have to watch it again, you know, especially both episodes, but I guarantee you it sounds like, you know, it's referential. Because, like I said, yeah, I mean, Rick and Morty is no stranger to not just sci-fi references, but just references in general, especially when it comes to, like, you know, pop culture shit. Gotta be a dipshit. Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, the charges and stuff were dropped and shit. But there's still, like, other things that are just kind of, obviously, like, kind of sus and shit, either way, despite that, that weren't necessarily related to the case itself. You know, so it's definitely, like, you know, he's definitely got some sus vibes at this point, for sure. But, I mean, I feel like I'm on, like, two ends. Like, I feel like he, you know, should be reinstated back on Rick and Morty, but on the other hand, it's just like, shouldn't there at least be maybe an investigation about the other stuff? At least, like, a civil case or something? You know, like, I don't know. Like, I'm definitely really on two ends about it at this point. I kind of see TJ's bit on it, but I feel like he's a little too, like, you know, like, nah, he's innocent now. It's like, I mean, yeah, innocent until proven guilty, you know, though you also have to take into circumstance of evidence, right? And there's still at least evidence about some sus vibes. I mean, at the very least, you know? I mean, that doesn't, you know, confirm one thing or another, obviously, you know, at least in my mind. But it definitely means and kind of first like, okay, what are you up to, bro? You know, especially considering the case, even if it was dropped. So, you know, I'm definitely a lot more like 50-50 about it at this point. I guess I'm maybe leaning like, I guess, you know, given circumstances, maybe just like, I don't fucking know. Like, I'm kind of a little reserved to say you should be reinstated back, but, you know, a part of me is leaning more towards, you know, yeah, just, you know, at least until further notice, I guess. Well, that episode where Marty gets a girlfriend, lives out, life only. Jared hit the reset button. Marty couldn't help himself when you saw past her. Very sad. Oh, yeah. Didn't really look into it. Was there any evidence if you actually did anything? For the case itself, there supposedly was, but there wasn't enough to actually, you know, go forward with the case, so it was dropped. But there's also, like, other stuff that wasn't related to the case. Like, there's, like, a clip of him saying, you know, something a little questionable, you know, like, that's definitely very kind of suspect about, you know, like, in 16-year-old girl, teen, basically, type of shit. And then there's also, like, texts, or, you know, that have been leaked out that weren't related to the case either, of him, you know, being also kind of creepy. But that's the thing, like, it's sussy, but it's not like something I would outright be like, okay, you know, is he outright, like, you know, is, you know, doing shit, or is he just being a fucking edgelord dork? Like, what's going on? Like, I mean, it does kind of add questions to it, but it's not like something for me to inherently be like, oh yeah, fuck him. I mean, you know, because, again, there is an element of innocent until proven guilty, but at the same time, like I said, you have to consider evidence of what is out there when it is out there. I mean, you can still at least infer with the, you know, what is available, you know, when it comes to shit like that. That's certain, you know, but like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean, like, you know, just go straight to an absolute, you know, thing and shit. But, you know, I don't know. Either way, like I said, unless, like, there's other evidence or other things that, you know, come out or something that says otherwise, you know, that, you know, shows more evidence, you know, to the contrary and shit. That's why I'm more leaning that, you know, at this point, you know, I think, you know, like, being, I guess, uncanceled, at least how TJ puts it, you know, it's okay. But, I mean, that's why I say at least until further notice, because it is possible other information could come out that's a lot more concrete, where a case, you know, or at least a different case could come back up. You know, so, you know, like, it's definitely one of those things, like I said, it's a little sussy for sure, where you probably want to kind of look, you know, watch, you know, kind of watch him a little bit, you know what I mean? Not like literally like, oh, we're spying you or some shit, but, you know, just considering, you know, what is available, the type of thing. It's just like, alright, a little weird. Sorry for me research skills. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, there's plenty of people who are, like, you know, autistic or kind of dorky or awkward or, like, you know, just kind of edgy and crass and stuff. And that's kind of, you know, and honestly, like, you know, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you know, there are just, like, some people who are like that. And I don't think that necessarily means that they're, like, you know, inherently, like, a bad person or creepy inherently or some shit. You know, they just, you know, that just might just have they be. Like, I'm definitely kind of a quirky, awkward, you know, crass dude for sure. Like, I mean, like, you know, but hey, yeah, it's just me though. You know, it's like, but, you know, I ain't gonna be going out there doing weird shit, but nonetheless, you know, there's a lot of different little, like, criterias I would meet for being, like, a weirdo creep or something, even though I'm not, so. Though I guess, you know, other people might see that, because I'm also a furry, bisexual, like, lefty degenerate, so, I mean, you know, there's plenty of people, especially on the right, that probably look at me as like, you're a degenerate creep, weirdo. So, I mean, you know, can't win them all, I guess. Yeah, I want to watch that later. I was actually wanting to get into it, maybe on this stream, but I ended up kind of venting off and doing other shit. Because I was watching, like, the first, like, 5 to 10 minutes of that, and I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, I really want to check this out. So, you know, I wanted to on this stream, but, you know, I'll just do it when I get off work and all that other bullshit. Well, not just off work, but also gotta see what's up with my mom. What the fuck's going on with that? Man, why does life gotta be shit? Woman legit was screaming homeless person for money, asking for money. Yeah, at least that's what I was. Yeah, from what you're, from what I was, watching for like the first 5 to 10 minutes of the video, like that's what it was sounded like. And honestly, even before I got to, that part of the context, and shit, I was just like, all right, fuck this bitch already. Because she was like, no man should ever approach a woman ever in a parking lot, like, no matter what. And I'm just like, what if, like, you're carrying groceries and the bag's broke and all your groceries are all over the parking lot and I want to come over to help pick them up because I just want to be a good Samaritan. It's like, oh, hey, let me help pick those up for you. Or just as a random hypothetical, like, what if I'm just being a good person? Or maybe like, hey, I'm trying to find this shop, and, can you help me, can you potentially help me, for directions? Like, there's like literally 1,001 different scenarios that are utterly harmless and have no weird implication, just because there's kind of like the basic like social contract of like, hey, if there's something I might potentially need help with or see someone might need help with something, then, it's a good Samaritan thing, or at least, a polite thing to be like, hey, excuse me, can, blah, 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 or it's like, hey, it's okay if I help you pick those things up, or whatever the hell, like, I mean, there's, like I already had, like, 1,001 different things to say just, with just the first little bit of shit that she was saying. I'm already, like, having commentary about it. Wait, I haven't even watched it yet. YouTube's getting less and less woke. Well, dude, YouTube's, like, censor algorithm when it comes to, like, live chats and shit is really broken. Like, you can't say dildo, but you can say rape. Like, wow. Because there's off chance you're lying. Dude, I mean, oh my god. And the thing is, yeah, there's definitely plenty of people that, especially dudes that are going to probably have malicious intent and shit, but that doesn't mean that, like, literally every motherfucker is doing that. And, to just treat it like an absolute and have, like, some weird fuck men mentality about it is just so ridiculous. And, unironically, it's sexist just the other way around. It's just like, I mean, what the fuck? I mean, obviously, you definitely want to be like, visually make sure that, people who, like, are kind of questionable and stuff, aren't trying to, like, approach you and interact with you or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, shit, I do that myself. There's just, like, kind of a self-preservation thing about, like, yeah, I mean, you want to, like, kind of mind a piece of cue sometimes. But, like, just because, the happenstance someone just does approach you or some shit, for whatever reason, is not, like, the end-all be-all, like, they're gonna, like, fucking try to end your life or something. Carrie's brother's wife is like that. She legit screamed at me for picking up her kid to carry him across the small creek where they set up his playground when I was babysitting. Oh my fucking god, that's so stupid. That is just so dumb. How dare you pick up my child, you fucking man! Ah! It's like, what? Do you want your child to be soaking wet in fucking creek water? And get all muddy and shit and track mud all over your fucking house? Saying he could have drowned in the creek somehow. Wait, what? So it's the other way around. Oh my god. Like, oh my god. What a dumb. What a bag of dumb. What a good old 100-pound bag of dumb right there. The creek barely covered my shoe. So it was barely like 2 inches or some shit. Oh my god, it was like a fucking low-level creek. Like in the summer, I bet that shit dried up like half the time. Oh my god, what a fucking schmuck. I didn't want to track mud. Yeah, that would be my mind. Because you know how kids are. They don't give a fuck if they got mud on their shoes. They don't care if they step in concrete. Now, how many times I've seen little kids, literally just step in fresh covered concrete? Oh my god, it seems like every kid I see does that. At least if there is, it's like they have an instinct to be like, fresh concrete, let me step in it. It's like they know, dude. It's just like, what the fuck? But, anyway. Gotta cash the last little bit of this bowl out and then go off to working on that shit. The girls know she tried to punch Carrie's mom in the face and told the cops Carrie's mom punched her. Oh my fucking god, that's just straight up a sociopath. I'd be avoiding that with a 10-mile pole, let alone a 10-foot one. But anyway. Thankfully, she moved back to Washington. Oh, great. So I'm more closer to her than you. Fuck. But anyway, I'll be back on later tonight, so peace out. And of course, I'll be back around for the next one.